So Blake Lively believes she's doing the right thing. Apparently, according to People, she has no regrets.
Blake Lively is in complete meltdown mode after a Hollywood reporter dropped a bombshell, exposing the shocking truth about her behavior on set. And honestly, I saw this coming. Her perfectly polished image is slowly disintegrating. And who can blame anyone but her own cunning nature?
I've heard that Blake is devastated, which she should be.
It seems like the carefully curated persona is finally catching up with her, and the cracks are showing big time.
And the next moment, she's like, oh no, she's carrying this burden for all the other victims out there.
Blake Lively's Hollywood empire is officially under siege, and folks, the meltdown is real. Forget the red carpets and picture-perfect Instagram posts. This is unfiltered chaos with a side of popcorn-worthy drama.
People magazine, everything there used to be so pro Blake Lively, and I think they had someone probably sitting there going through them and deleting the ones that were negative.
Except this battle cry feels a little off-key. Plenty of critics are saying Blake's outrage over caricature is less about fighting sexism and more about diverting attention from the real story. Her alleged controlling behavior on the set of It Ends With Us.
So she says he's been harassing her, and they bring in some team, and he says, whatever you want, I will do it or not do it. You tell me.
You know the kind of behavior that makes directors reach for the nearest stress ball, and co-stars secretly text their agents, get me out of here.
So negative press swirled around her during this whole, like a month, right? Later, she would describe this as though it was the pile-on against Trump. Honestly, it's like, most of us, especially in Republican politics or the news, this is called Tuesday for us.
But wait, there's more. Enter Justin Baldoni, the man at the center of this drama, and Blake's sparring partner. In this epic feud, Blake's team has painted him as an unprofessional nightmare, claiming the set It Ends With Us was a circus under his leadership.
I'll give you a little background on it, and then you will be obsessed with it. And I'll tell you, there's a reason why conservatives in particular are following this so closely. It makes sense to me. All right, so you know who Blake Lively is, right?
Justin, however, isn't playing a Hollywood blame game. Instead, he's firing back with cold, hard receipts.
And then Justin Baldoni did something very smart. He hired the lawyer who represented me in my fight with NBC News, which ended well.
And let me tell you, his side of the story makes Blake's claims look shakier than a Jenga tower in an earthquake.
We see the truth, or some of these, at least Baldoni's truth, we see the other side of it, and that, at least according to him, and many people believe this, that she was the aggressor pretending to be the victim.
For starters, Justin's team has accused Blake of being culturally insensitive, specifically regarding his Baha'i faith. While Blake's camp screams about victimhood, Justin's team is calmly pointing out the inconsistencies in her story. It's like a courtroom drama. But instead of lawyers, we got PR teams duking out in the public arena.
It's funny how she goes back and forth a lot, and how she is like so happy and so like she doesn't care in photos, going on red carpets on SNL, baking donuts, and then the next moment it's like, oh, she's sad and she regrets things, and then the next moment she's like, oh no, she's carrying this burden for all the other victims out.
Speaking of inconsistencies, let's talk about Blake's victim narrative. She positioned herself as a champion for women in Hollywood, bravely standing up to sexism and toxic work environments. Sounds inspiring, right, except for one tiny problem: the receipts.
That the actress, who is mom of daughter James and Inez and Betty, plus son Olin, with husband Ryan Reynolds, has her children's best interests prioritized through the legal process.
Justin's side has been meticulous, presenting evidence that challenges Blake's claims at every turn: emails, text, witness accounts, and everything you name it, at a level of preparedness that would make even the best lawyers jealous.
There's so much going on in this world. I won't talk about all the serious stuff going on in this world, because I think we have enough stuff to deal with that makes us depressed.
And let's not forget the Hollywood Reporter Exposé itself, which didn't pull any punches. It painted a picture of a woman whose need for control bordered on obsessive, with allegations of micromanagement that reportedly strained relationships on set.
He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it.
Was Blake just trying to ensure a successful film, or did she cross a line? Depends on who you ask. But the consensus seems to be this was no typical strong woman. in charged situation. And talking about that cartoon the one Blake claimed was a sexist attack, critics have pointed out that her outrage conveniently ignored the much larger issues raised in the article, like her alleged manipulations and contradictions. It's almost as if the cartoon outrage was a distraction tactic. Shocking, right?
What's going on here? What does he say? Why is he suing them?
But Justin Baldwin's strategy in all this has been a masterclass in damage control. While Blake's team leans heavily on emotional appeals and public sympathy, Justin's camp is sticking to facts. It's a stark contrast, and one that's winning over skeptics. Hollywood insiders are even starting to wonder, is Blake the empowered victim she claims to be, or is this a carefully orchestrated attempt to control the narrative the fallout has been? Nothing short of spectacular. Blake's reputation has taken a major hit, and the Hollywood community is divided. Some still see her as a feminist icon standing up against injustice, others not so much.
I think they instantly started spinning. I believe that they are going to be able to prove in court that this was personal. Ryan Reynolds versus Justin Baldoni, all of the evidence points.
Meanwhile, Justin Baldwin's reputation, once under attack, is starting to recover as the truth, or at least his version of it, comes to light.
All the women out there that are watching, no matter what you do in life, you never, ever, ever go full Amber Heard. The conclusion here, I have said this since before, long before this ever broke out between her and Justin Baldoni. Blake Lively is not.
This isn't just another Hollywood spat. It's a career-defining moment for both stars with high stakes and no clear winner. But one thing for sure, Blake Lively's Meltdown is officially the drama of the year. So grab your popcorn, because this show is far from over.
He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it. I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully.
Let's talk about lawsuits, because nothing screams I'm doing great quite like dragging someone to court. Blake Lively's legal saga started with a lofty goal of justice and advocacy. Right, wrong, it's giving PR campaign in disguise.
He hired the lawyer who represented me in my fight with NBC News, which ended well. His name is Brian Friedman, and he's a legal genius. Highly recommend if you ever, God forbid. And Brian Friedman knows how to fight back against a bully.
This lawsuit wasn't about righting wrongs. It was about polishing her image to a mirror shine after it got a little tarnished, and it ends with this debacle.
On Blake Lively's claims that she was allegedly harassed by this guy when they shot the movie, it ends with Us, a film about domestic violence.
Blake positioned herself as a new age genre of arc championing victims of mistreatment. But let's pause here and revisit the timeline, shall we? This is the same woman who, while filming a story about abuse and resilience, was busy promoting Gene and Hairspray, the irony thicker than the alcohol content in her gin brand. She's out here saying, let's talk about victims, but also don't forget to spritz your hair with my new line. She holds even through courtroom drama.
So negative press swirled around her during this whole, like a month, right? Later, she would describe this as though it was the pile-on against Trump. Honestly, it's like most of us, especially in Republican politics or the news, this is called Tuesday for us.
And then there's a timeline. Blake, your timeline has more holes than Swiss cheese. Remember her supposed spontaneous decision to collaborate with the New York Times for an expose, about that leaked metadata showed months of prep work months. So much for spurvy moment activism. She wasn't just planning. She was practically storyboarding this thing like a Netflix miniseries. Spontaneous, sure. And I guess I spontaneously eat an entire pizza after ordering it 30 minutes earlier.
And for you to do the opposite and just imply, again, more toxic crap and negativity about anything this man does must have been to seek pleasure. I mean, you were so full of yourself.
What's truly fascinating is how Blake's lawsuit feels less like a quest for justice and more like a masterclass in rebranding. Her PR team turned her court filings into a circus, complete with metaphorical popcorn and acrobatics. It's almost like the real goal wasn't the lawsuit itself, but how she could spin it in interviews and Instagram captions.
Her on Daily Mail, where she looked sad. She was at this horse event, I think, for her daughter, and she looked kind of sad. I don't know if that was the reason that people started saying that she regretted this whole feud because it was coming from some sources, but now People magazine is saying she does not.
Now let's dive into the aftermath, where things get hilariously messy. Entered the Daily Mail stage left with their sad Blake photo spread. These weren't just pictures, they were an opera of melancholy Blake in sweats, looking pensive at a coffee shop. Blake walking her dog, gazing into the distance. as if contemplating the way of the world. Or maybe just her next PR move the captions practically screamed, "Woe is Blake."
Everyone in this room, because you're here, I know this about you, you've been gaslit to high heaven every time you've picked up a newspaper in the United States.
Public speculation ran wild. Was she regretting the lawsuit? Was she rethinking her life choices? Or was this just another act in the Blake Lively theater of image control?
People magazine is saying she does not regret starting this feud.
People magazine chimed in too, but with their trademark contradictory flair, one anonymous source claimed she was doubling down steadfast in her mission. Another suggested she was having second thoughts, pick a lane people for.
For you to do the opposite and just imply, again, more toxic crap and negativity about anything this man does must have been to seek pleasure. I mean, you were so full of yourself, and this guy should sue her in a way.
And then there's Blake's self-portrait as a selfless crusader fighting for what's right, a noble cause indeed. But when you peel back the glossy layers, you start to see the cracks. It's hard to reconcile. I'm doing this for the greater good, I'm doing this while coordinating outfits for my paparazzi strolls. If this is selflessness, then I guess I'm Mother Teresa for sharing my Wi-Fi password with the neighbor.
It's just deranged. It's nonsensical. Like, fire the whole PR team. It's dumb.
It's nonsensical, like fire the whole PR team. It's dumb that deserves a round of applause. Instead of facts, they went full mystic with phrases like, Blake's beliefs remain unshaken. What does that even mean? Are we talking about her lawsuit or a horoscope? Reading her PR team managed to craft statements so vague they could apply to literally anything. Her beliefs remain unshaken. Great. But what about the receipts? The sad Blake narrative feels less like an organic public reaction and more like a scripted sympathy tour. From the carefully curated photo ops to the emotional leaks to the press, it's all a bit calculated. Sure, Blake might want us to believe she's just a woman standing in front of the public asking them to believe in her cause, but to many it looks more like she's a woman standing in front of a mirror rehearsing her next move.
As well, an intimacy coordinator has weighed in and has said that she thinks that Blake trusted Justin at one point.
Justin Baldoni didn't just clap back, he brought a PowerPoint presentation. His response to Blake Lively's claims was nothing short of methodical.
Mr. Reynolds was a key player in the scheme, defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME, their agency, into dropping Justin as a client and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible.
While she was spinning a narrative with dramatic flair, Baldoni was busy laying down cold, hard receipts. It's like she came to a chess match with checkers pieces. And he said, "Not today." Let's start with the evidence. Baldwin's team systematically picked apart Lively's allegations like they were assembling IKEA furniture, except this came with an instruction manual, text messages, emails, on-set reports. They left no stone unturned.
Actor Adam Monsheen, who appeared alongside Blake Lively in It Ends With Us, claims the movie star mischaracterized their scene together in her bombshell sexual harassment lawsuit against Justin Baldoni.
Blake claimed unprofessionalism, but Baldwin countered with glowing testimonials and timestamps. It was a masterclass in precision, and honestly, it was giving Phoenix Right Ace Attorney. But what made this even more layered was the alleged cultural prejudice lurking in Blake's narrative. Baldoni, a proud follower of Baha'i faith, was subtly painted as other in her accusations. It's the kind of undertone you'd hope Hollywood had moved past in 2D25, but here we are, Blake's narrative intentionally or not played into stereotypes that undermine Baldwin's character, and people noticed.
How manipulative she's been. How she's trying to rewrite the history of it all.
Then came the Hollywood shift. While Blake was once the darling of the red carpet, the tide started turning. Baldoni, initially quiet, emerged as a grounded, articulate counterpoint to her increasingly chaotic claims. His calm demeanor, coupled with his evidence-backed approach, started flipping the victimhood narrative on its head. And Hollywood loves a redemption arc.
Is now offended by her implications in the lawsuit that he wasn't even qualified for this small little nothing role.
Let's not forget actor Adam Manchin, who threw his hat and some serious shade into the Ring Mansion, who worked on It Ends With Us, called Blake's allegations offensive and untrue. Kindly let us know in the comments section. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, be the first to watch our videos by turning on the notifications. See you in the next video.